Yeah. Hey. So, yeah. Today we're gonna try and make a dovetail box. I kind of like joinery stuff, and there is a half update. I'm gonna make an actual video on it once I'm completely done. But don't fall. I've remodeled my shed a little bit. But yeah, so we're going to do a dovetail box. I'm going to put a glass top on it. Just because I have a shitload of glass. Like, I've got just these 3 panes, and they're the entire length of this. I've got a couple more panes up there above the fridge. And the one I have is out front on my porch. So, first thing we're going to do is grab the wood and bring that down. I'll pull my workbench down, move some other stuff around, and we can start cutting the pieces out. Okay. That's a bad angle. Okay, so I have 2 boards here. I got them from Big Box Store. One red oak. Oh. One red oak. And one a poplar. So the dovetail box I'm making, it's for under my entertainment center to house all of my cables and shit. My PlayStation that's plugged in, the DVD player, the antennas, the cables running around. So I'm building this to hold all of that. So it's going to be a 20-inch by 16 by about 8. I figured I could max out at 8. These are only like 7.5. So I'm probably just going to make it 7.5. Whatever the width is of these was 7.5. 7.25. Yeah. So, first thing I gotta do is get these marked up, cut to size. I'm gonna cut them about a 1/2 inch bigger because I don't want these as hidden dovetail type of joinery. I want them proud. I don't think I'm gonna need this anytime soon at the moment. So now I need to figure out what kind of design I want to do for the I should bring that saw back out and make sure these are all the exact same, because it did not work out. All right, I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm done. I got my pieces cut, and they're the same length, and they're actually closer to what I wanted them to be anyhow. 16 3/4, and this one's only 20 7/8, but that's still better. So I'm going to set you aside. I'm going to sit down and figure out how I want to do the dovetails on this. Okay, so I gave up on trying to make my own like template design. I even tried to like make a template out of other stuff so that I could like transfer it better, and none of it was working. It was taking too long. It was just so much easier to do something else, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. Okay, we're going to scratch the whole idea, making a template and doing all that. I just printed it out. It had taken me a day and a half to figure everything out. So, printed out designs. It's actually kind of easy to do. And I'm going to put these on. I only printed out as many as I need for the red oak because the poplar is going to be just the opposite. So I'm not really going to need anything for that. But yeah, I'm going to tape these on, cut them out, tape them on. Got them taped on. I want to try and get these cut and ready so I can at least either throw them in glue tomorrow, basically. So I'm going to get these marked out, cut. You know what? They make this look so easy on YouTube. Not easy. I knew this was going to be difficult. But, like, quick. Okay, I just wanted to pause here where I'm at. I wanted to show you, but I didn't pause early enough. But either way, if you're hand cutting, I've got a finishing saw and a coping saw. This is a like halfway easy way to do it. So I had all my slits cut for the angle, and then I just came back and with the finish saw I went diagonally, and then I'm coming back through with the coping saw and cutting out the chunks so that it's kind of close. And I'll do all the finishing up with my chisel and everything, but this gets a bulk of the material out. Okay, back when I'm done. So we're going to fly through this. I'm going through, sanding everything up, making sure everything's nice and clean, nice and cornered, nice and straight. It doesn't end up that way because first time doing this, it's not going to be great. But I'm going through, I'm doing that. I'm trying to figure out how to transfer this stuff over to the other section of the board. It takes a little bit of finagling to figure out what my plan of action is for that. I do finally get that. I have this 90-degree like clamp that I use, and I just use that, my marking knife, and a couple of other things just to make sure I get everything all correct, everything kind of close, and it all kind of comes together, but it comes together in the end, not so much in the beginning. But again, that woodworking, beginning stuff, doing stuff for the first time, don't expect it to come out perfect. I am going to harp on this probably for the rest of my channel and life. All right, so I got it done. I did want to show you kind of how I had to do it because I had to do it on the table saw to get a good-ish. But I just clamped a piece of wood to it so I could stand it up straight and kind of just had to hold it right and slide it through on my crosscut sled. But yeah, I've got all my pieces. Ready to go. All I've got to do is glue it and clamp it. Just hope it doesn't go crooked on me. apparently my microphone died when I was recording this part, but all I'm doing is like saying I finally got it all glued up, got it all clamped together. It's got a little bit of a wobble to it, so I'm gonna clamp it down to that board on the that I've been like placing you guys on the camera on, and like hope that holds it straight, and come back the next day or later on the day and get everything done. Okay, next morning I already got it on whatever. It's still crooked. This side doesn't look too bad. For the edges, I don't need to do too much fixing. This side, however, oh, this one's not bad. It's more on this side that everything's not great. This one ain't too bad. It sucks that it's the opposite corners and not just like one side. Opposite corners, not just one side. But either way, it's going to be faced like this. I think I'm going to have it on... How'd I have it? I think I was going to have it this way. Yeah. I've realized I talk a lot explaining stuff. So, like, we cut right to here, and I cut out, like, maybe about 6-7 minutes of me just talking about random stuff. I did have to make this little jig so I could actually cut the rabbit with my router here. But, yeah, I cut out a lot of stuff, and I'm just cutting the rabbit out. I have not decided if I'm going to use my chisels to square this off, or I'm not sure yet. But I do know I need to cut my plywood out. It's about 15 3/4, just a little under. I can sand that out if I need to. And 19 and like 15/16. That didn't come out too bad. It is a little shy, just barely. Each way, like just the smallest amount. Okay, I've got this sanded right, got corners sit right, but I didn't realize till now, you might be able to see it on video, this thing's crooked. Very crooked. So, it's going to take a little bit to get this thing to sit right. Clamps and clamps and more clamps. So yeah, I'm going to get this glued up and hopefully it sits flat. Glued up, I got to go do running. Life. But I think once I come back, I can start sanding everything else. Because like I said, the friction of the box wanting to go crooked is mostly going to hold it in itself. I got to cut the top off so that I have a top. Okay, next day I didn't get back to it, but it does look pretty nice. I am scared to cut this top off because of it being crooked. I'm scared of when I cut the top off, it's just going to go back into how it was. So I've got these hickory slabs that aren't perfectly milled. So I'm going to cut, I think this one, and make like a rim, or a trim actually, rim for the top. That way, at the same time, I can just make it a little bit thicker. I can make it like an inch. miter joint it. Just do a regular miter joint around it and glue that to the top of this. Might look like it's tilting right now, but this is a better flat surface, and it's only doing it a little bit, just this side. That's no big deal to me. It's house furniture. It's not supposed to be perfect. I'd like it to be perfect, but I don't have the correct tools or the patience. Patience is a virtue, and it's not one that I have well. I finished cutting the miter cuts, and I go into how I used my miter gauge, which wasn't great. I used my speed square in the table saw rail in the end, but all I'm worried about is gluing it down to the top so it doesn't twist on me when I cut the top out. Okay, next day, I never got back out here. I do need to make a shim for here and a shim for here. I'm just going to use some wood super glue to put those in, and that should be fine. And then I can sand this flat-ish. Some of this ain't perfect, but it should be fine. Again, first tries, never the best try. You can always do your best, but you can never do perfect on the first one by yourself. By yourself, you can never do perfect on the first one. But yeah, I'm gonna cut out a couple shims for that. Okay, I got the shims in. It looks kind of odd, but it's hard to tell on camera. But next thing I need to do is I'm gonna set my fence up, I think about 2 inches. That'll give me 2-inch ledge, and I can put my glass in. I can finally get my glass cut and put in and get this project basically done with. This was actually kind of sketchy to do, but really interesting to do at the same time. Cutting the top out like this, it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. It was actually really interesting for me. But do be careful when you do stuff like this, just because woodworking's dangerous. That turned out just as well as I expected it to. I actually expected it a little bit worse, but this should be fine as long as I flatten up these edges. It's perfect. Now all I gotta do is get my glass cut and put the hardware on. So that happened. Yeah. I have other glass, thankfully. I have enough other glass to be able to finish this. But I was like practicing cutting glass, and apparently I didn't practice with any of that glass. So yeah. I pulled some glass down. Let's try this again. Well, that was unfortunate. This is the only piece of glass I have big enough left, and it's not big enough. Ugh. Damn it. What the fuck did I do wrong? Ugh. And I can't afford to go out and get glass to replace it right now. So I might just have to, like, fix it another time or finish it another time. Because I need to get this done so I can get started on a cutting board. Oh, that's so frustrating. Well, then I get yeah. I don't have any glass. Yeah. It's frustrating. So either way, I'm gonna put this glass away. I'm gonna sand this stuff and get it ready to put finish on it, and then go from there, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so I sanded this up to 180 on everything. I have a HVLP sprayer, so I want to give it a shot. I want to see how well it does. First time trying, so let's give it a shot. Let us spray. That turned out pretty well. I'm liking the look of it, especially the hickory accent on top. Yeah, it's looking great. I had a real hard time with this hardware. First, I tried to use a screwdriver. That didn't work. I couldn't get it to hold where I wanted to. I did take measurements and do, I think, like 3 inches or 6 inches from each side. But I ended up having to grab my like 4-inch clamp here and just like clamp it down kind of where I wanted it. Then take my impact driver and screw it in and then get the second side. It was a real pain, especially with putting the front on. I had to grab a pair of pliers, hold the nail in, and even in the end, I ended up taking the front off because it honestly wasn't holding anything. So it just ended up not being used, and I had to fill the holes in anyhow. But either way, I did get this done. I'm almost out of battery, so I'm gonna get this done real quick. I do like the way this looks. I will make like an update video whenever I can actually afford the glass for this. Okay, just to add this in, I did finish the box. Just grabbed a piece of plywood I had left over, spray painted it black. I took the clasp off the front because it wasn't doing nothing. Got my holes cut in it so that I can put the power stuff in. And it's done. I think it looks good. So to past Zach, which will be future Zach, editing. I don't know. And I'm probably going to replace this because this is just kind of dumb and don't work. But it does actually kind of work. Maybe if I do something like that. I don't know. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, the next video I'm going to have is me making a cutting board. Never done it before. I'm just learning everything. So subscribe, follow, like, comment, whatever all the things are. See you next time. However long that's going to be.